Let's have a look at this railway car park in Perth and think about the difference in how car parking for railway stations is done in Australia versus how the Dutch do it. Now, we know the Dutch are really big on their bike parking at stations, but in Perth, 99% of the parking is still dedicated to cars. Now, I've got to say, in WA, they do a really good job of providing a small amount of secure caged bike parking at every single train station. They can fit in 20 or 30 bikes, but this car park would hold maybe about 500 cars. Now, I'm filming it on a weekend when it's almost empty, but I've been through here on plenty of weekdays and it's usually 80 to 90% full. And I don't think they could make it any larger than this, even if they had the land available, because there's a limit to how far people will walk when they get out of their car to get to a destination, and 400 metres is definitely about the furthest people will go. So if they tried to extend this car park any further to the south, people would just drive in and go, I'm not walking that far, and drive out again and just drive to the city and park there. So it's really reached its maximum capacity. But you think of how much asphalt has had to be laid down here to create space for 500 people to go and catch the train. The urban heat island effect that creates, the stormwater runoff that it creates when it rains. What it costs to build this. I mean, you think about what it would have cost to level this, to put down the foundations, to put down the drainage, the lighting, to landscape it, the curbs, all that stuff that would go into this, compared to what would it cost to provide storage for 500 bikes. And it would probably cost, I'm going to roughly guess, 5 to 10% of the expense of doing this. Or alternatively, you could have built space for 1,000 people to park their bikes at a fraction of the cost of this, without having to take up so much land, create this great big urban heat island effect. You could have planted this whole area with grass and trees and actually had a nice green space instead of this dirty great big asphalt wasteland. So look, on the positive side, they're doing something to stop people driving all the way into town by driving here and parking instead, and that's really good. But the thinking has not moved into going the next step, which is, can we get people to jump on a Brompton folding bike or an e-bike or a scooter and ride the couple of kilometres from their house to the station and either park the bike in a secure parking at the station or fold it up and take it on the train. And that is really the next generation of thinking. So in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, with all this e-mobility that we've got, will we see these car parks empty like this during the week because people have switched to riding electric skateboards to the station? Or are we just going to see something like this filled with, second-hand electric vehicles, which are the station, transport banger vehicle that families buy? Be interesting to see how that turns out.